That all 16 people on board a helicopter which ditched into the North Sea yesterday afternoon have died. It was on its way back from the BP Miller oil platform when the accident happened. It's the second Super Puma helicopter to crash in the area in the past 6 weeks. BP has suspended all passenger flights of the Super Puma. Danny Savage reports now from Aberdeen.
Just before first light, a rig support vessel arrived in Aberdeen with a grim cargo. The harrowing task of returning the 8 bodies recovered from the crash scene was handled by the crew and police. Further north in Peterhead, the lifeboat crew brought ashore wreckage from the helicopter, found floating on the calm sea. One of them appears to be carrying a shattered rotor blade. Late last night, 2 rig workers who had just returned to shore told me of their concerns.
I was flying in today. You certainly felt a bit of a lump in your throat for the guys that are lost and missing, obviously, you know.
We all grieve for, especially the families of the guys who are missing, lost or whatever. We all grieve for it because they're there for the grace of God go aye.
14 miles off the coast, the search operation has resumed. But in reality, they are looking for bodies, not survivors.
Even in favourable weather conditions as we're experiencing at the moment, the sea temperatures in the North Sea are only 8 degrees. It's a very harsh environment, and I have to say that the situation doesn't look good.
There is a sense of quietness around the city. We are used to hearing and seeing helicopters in the sky every few minutes over Aberdeen, and it's been that way for the last 25 or 30 years.
Bond, who owned the helicopter, has temporarily suspended its passenger-carrying flights, although they say they have every confidence in their Super Pumas. In the history of the oil support industry based here in Aberdeen, this is the worst disaster in more than 20 years. And with half the victims coming from this city, many people here have been affected. But the philosophical view of many rig workers is that helicopter transfers are just part of the job in a business that has many risks. And the reality of those risks was clear to see here today. Danny Savage, BBC News, Aberdeen.
We can speak to Raymond Buchanan, who's in Aberdeen. As Danny just said, helicopter transfers are part of the job. But what is the safety record like for helicopters going to and from these oil rigs?
Well, the loss of these 16 men in yesterday's incident brings the death toll for offshore helicopter journeys to more than 100 in the UK. That is over the last 30 or 40 years. Now, that seems like a very large number indeed, but the industry point out that they believe they have a very good safety record. They point out that those 100 deaths have to be put into the context of more than 60 million passenger journeys. And they also say that they concentrate on safety an awful lot and are continuing all the time to innovate where they can. For instance, a new tracking system is due to be introduced relatively soon, which will allow rescuers to have better information about exactly where any helicopters that hit the water, where they are and where their passengers are as well. But there's no getting away from the fact that when you have a loss of life on this scale, there will be enormous concern, especially in this city. You can see behind me just how important the oil industry is to this part of Scotland. Thousands of journeys, as Danny said, being made from Aberdeen out to these rigs, and all of those who are travelling on helicopters will be concerned at this incident, and so will their families, and they will look forward to any lessons that can be learned in terms of safety.
Raymond Buchanan in Aberdeen, thank you very much. The time is almost 1:15. Our top story.